arriving tomorrow, and it looks like I've missed off something huge which is coming. So let's go over what you guys can expect inside of Feast Ember tomorrow. So first up, we need to look over this teaser, this new one that we have for the premiere that's going to be happening tomorrow. Inside of this teaser, we see Lugal and Tring having a nice marshmallow over a campfire, typical Feast Ember setting. Then Tring's marshmallow, it goes a bit hard and a bit rotten, but poor thing, Chunkori. Don't get his poor food after his workout, bless him. But if we look in the background here, you can notice some quite new things. Now, this I do believe is hinting towards our updated Feast Ember skin, but this is besides the point here, guys. Because this premiere, it indicates we are getting something more than what I thought inside of Feast Ember, right? I looked over something pretty major inside of my initial theories behind Feast Ember, so let's go back and look at it. But first of all, let's also take a look at this promotion that we have inside of the game for the premiere. So it says, gather round the fire. Fire is highlighted in the Fire Haven text. What do you know? And an update is coming. Well, if I had to predict anything here, guys, it's this update is coming to Fire Haven. So with that in mind now, we also need to go back to that promotion that we had, the Getting Warmer one, where we saw Kana looking at this relic, wondering what's going on here. Now, relics, they're used for fire elementals, but what are they also used for, MPG? They are used for WERDOS. My wonderful self, I just completely went over this, okay? It is an absolutely monumental fact. It just eluded my brain. I even put up the Werdo image in the theory video. This Werdo image that is used inside of the nursery is the exact same one as the one that is corresponded to the Werdos eating the relics. The fire elementals aren't represented to eat them anyway, guys. The nursery egg is supposed to be representing the Werdos. Stuff Candelabra in the background. This is where it's at, alright? Right, Candelabra, you can move to the side, sweetie, because we need to talk about these Werdos right now. So with this new pheromones in mind now, we got to go over these Werdos that we currently have. We have 4 Werdos. We have Pulsona, plant, air, and water, Talker on plant, cold, and earth, and then Steward on air and earth, and Magpie on cold and water. Quite a lot of islands there. However, we noticed something off here. 2 of these Werdos, Pulsona and Talker, appear 1 time more over Steward and Magpie. So there's an imbalance here. There is an imbalance alert, guys. This balance, it is going to be fixed though, as I do think, seeing as though Steward and Magpie only appear twice, they are going to reappear on Fire Haven. Right now, oh what? I do think the Werdos are going to be returning with Magpie and Steward on Fire Haven tomorrow, guys. Especially seeing as though if we go on back to Mimic, we know that Magpie's voice actor, they have been inside of Big Blue Bubble recently, and therefore would have got the chance to voice Magpie on Fire Haven. And actually, if we're looking at it from that perspective, they might have made some minor contributions towards Mimic, I'm not exactly sure, but Maggie, she didn't really do that much, Magpie's voice actor, while she was there. So it would actually be a huge indicator that this is what they could have done while they were there, other than being with Talker's voice actor and Punkleton's at the time. Especially with the Werdos appearing on the natural islands as well, the fire islands are often considered a part of those. No, in fact, in-game they are too. This is all too perfect, guys. The Werdos are making their return. And if we're looking at the Werdos as well, they usually follow a set of rules. So if we go on back to Planet Island ones, for example, they sing about plants. It is always going back to that original element behind these islands, their lyrics. And that is why there's a campfire and this Fire Haven highlighted text. It's about fire. These lyrics are going to be formed around that. But if we're going back to Fire Haven, it has backstory, it has depth. This island is not like the rest. It needs to be represented with the huge amount of lore that this island has. Tribal islands, caverns, all of that. No, in fact, all of the Dawn of Fire, it is specifically tied to the fire element. And looking at Dawn of Fire, we have 0 lore, guys, without Dawn of Fire. So you cannot sit there and tell me that the Werdos are not going to reference that in some shape or form. And out of both Fire Haven and Fire Oasis, let's be real here, Fire Oasis is not going to be left behind. Fire Haven, it's the island that most resonates with Dawn of Fire. It is the island that marks the fire elemental's return, and to me, it actually represents a lot more than that too, as Fire Haven was in fact the time where My Singing Monsters got updated again. It's like it's almost like the rebirthed island is the thing that rejuvenated everything that we come to know from My Singing Monsters and made it just awesome itself. Loads of things like Amber Island, the Magical Islands, Fire Oasis, just all these things, Mythical Island, everything just resorts back to that island for me. The lore, just so much is relied flying on this Fire Haven Island, okay? So these lyrics, I think, are gonna reference that and do even more. If we were to just stick to the Wordo rules that we've seen so far, it would not do Fire Haven justice, guys. They could stick to singing about fire, but I don't see it happening. Fire Oasis is gonna be getting Wordos too, and they could easily do something like that over there. They could easily talk about fire somewhat on both, but if you're asking me, I think tying it back to those Wordo rules, but integrating it back into what Fire Haven is about is the core aspect that we could get seen here. We could see the lyrics be about recollection, whilst not necessarily being too specific, where people might not understand who aren't law fanatics like me. I think we are going to see some little tic-tac-toes over here, where they are going to poke in some little references here and there into the lore, but I do think for the most part it's going to be just this recollection of sorts and looking back nostalgically on this period and how time passes and the aging of time, as this is the best island to do that with for the Wordos. A remembrance to the age of fire while still preserving that more relatable sidedness that those Wordos offer. And these Wordos, they are going to be playing through the majority of Fire Haven, guys. This is going to happen. It happens with every single Wordo. I can see them being left out of that beginning and finale verse. But I do think they are going to be playing through the majority, and they are going to give so much life to Fire Haven. This is going to be unreal. This island now is honestly going to feel complete. We only have Epic Woodbox and the Colossal left for Fire Haven, guys. Then this island, it is done. That is how close we are to getting this island complete now, which is so crazy. I am so excited behind these. And this too, it really reminds me of the Fire Haven collab, where everyone in the community, loads of people came in and they dedicated themselves towards these Wordle lyrics on the island, what were about the dawn of fire, and even had a moment of animation where Kana was going through the caverns, and oh, it was the best part for me, okay? There's a lot of fanatic, I was sort of like, yes! And then fleeing the continent when it was cracking. There's so much potential here, guys, which makes it just so exciting. Stuart is gonna slay here, okay? But if I do have my doubts on anyone, I'm sorry, Magpie Love, but it is you. I'm not a huge fan of the Cold Island lyrics, so I'm a bit iffy here on how Magpie's gonna go, but I do think War Island Magpie, you came back, sweetie. You can come back here, alright? You can make that comeback and we will love you, Magpie. I do get the feeling that these two Wordle lyrics, it seems as though there's so much that they can embrace here and they can still make it non-specific in a way. It could be the best Wordle lyrics we have seen to date, which is just so phenomenally exciting. Fire Haven song as well, when I just sit there and listen to it and the singer starts playing, it just feels like something is going to click here. I feel like I sit there and I can just see this working so well. The Fire Haven song, it just lends itself to this, and I cannot wait for the moment to see Stuart start, okay, because that will be amazing. Oh, Fire Haven is about to go and be brought back to life, alright? Little Ghast over here, his ghostly body, everyone's about to turn into gas right now. Because this island is coming for us. Now, the Feast Ember skin, we went over inside of this teaser too, how we're also going to be getting an update to that more than likely too. They're not just making these things for the fun of it for the teaser. They usually do mean something. So we can see pumpkins in the background here, which are likely going to resemble what we can see with the Fire Haven skin in the background. We got some berries, just typical Thanksgiving stuff, okay? As a UK person, English, okay, over here, I don't really understand the tradition. But I know about it, I know of it, but I'm sat here and maybe you guys know them more than me on this subject. But regardless, we can look at Ral's design here. As I saw them make this after I posted my initial theories, and I was instantly sad that I could not include it, but now I can, so there you go. So we got massive pies here, Thanksgiving meal all over the place. We've got food just everywhere, okay? That's the main thing behind this. I can see some pumpkin pies. Could be a cool reference to Dawn of Fire they could make here with the different pies. I can see some from the bakery in My Singing Monsters as well, those pies towards the back. Really nice how they seem to have integrated in towards My Singing Monsters foods, and seeing as though we have so many from Dawn of Fire, and we even saw that marshmallow from Dawn of Fire in the teaser too. I do think that Dawn of Fire foods and just different foods in general could make a return with this Feast Ember skin. Now make sure to watch my other Feast Ember theories for more, and also make sure to hit that like button as it helps more than you guys will ever know. I'm off now though. Oh, Stuart, my wonderful Stuart. I just want Stuart, okay? I really like Stuart's sounds. They were going to add so much. See you later though, guys, for now. Bye! on, just do it, okay?